After the climactic battle in the sacred grove, where Finn and his companions restored balance to the world by uniting the 5 elemental stones, they returned to the village of Glenshade as celebrated heroes. The people greeted them with joyous parades, offering flowers, songs, and feasts in their honor. The air was crisp with the scent of autumn as peace blanketed the lands. Finn, the courageous young boy who had risen to the challenge, now lived the quiet life he had once longed for. But deep down, he sensed that this peace might be fragile, a fleeting gift that could vanish without warning. As the sun set one quiet evening, Finn sat around a small campfire outside the village with Aric, his ever-loyal friend, and Tilly, the mischievous yet wise pixie who had joined them on their quest. They talked about their adventure, about the friends they had made along the way, and of course the momentous task they had accomplished. "Remember that time we nearly got swallowed by that living mountain?" Aric chuckled, tossing another log into the fire. The flames crackled, casting flickering shadows across their faces. Tilly giggled. "Or when Finn thought the stone of flames would burn him if he picked it up. I told you magic stones don't work like that." Finn smiled, poking at the fire with a stick. "Well, I wasn't exactly prepared for a magical adventure back then, was I?" But as they laughed and reminisced, Finn's thoughts were elsewhere. He couldn't shake the feeling that their story wasn't over yet. His dreams had been strange lately, filled with dark clouds and a growing shadow looming in the distance. It was as if something was watching him, waiting, and the peace they had restored with the stones felt temporary. Suddenly, a chilling gust of wind swept through the clearing, blowing out the fire and plunging them into darkness. The temperature dropped sharply, the warmth of the night dissipating in an instant. Tilly's wings fluttered anxiously, and Aric stood up, eyes wide, looking around. "What was that?" Aric asked, his voice tight with concern. Before Finn could respond, they noticed a figure standing on the hill above them. Cloaked in shadow, the figure's silhouette was tall and menacing, its long robe billowing in the sudden wind. In its hand, it held a twisted staff that seemed to pulse with an eerie, dark light. The figure raised its staff, and the sky above them darkened as thick clouds blotted out the stars. Finn's heart pounded in his chest. Who are you?" The figure's voice was cold and distant, echoing unnaturally through the night air. "So, you think you've saved the world, boy? You think balance has been restored because you united the stones?" Tilly fluttered closer to Finn, her voice trembling. That's not a friendly tone." The figure took a step forward, the ground beneath it blackening with each stride. "You've only delayed the inevitable. The real power, the power that will reshape the world, lies not in your precious stones. The true force lies in a place forgotten by time, the Lost Kingdom of Aeryndor." "Aeryndor," Aric echoed, confused. "What's that?" The figure ignored the question and pointed the staff directly at Finn. A dark bolt of energy shot toward him. Finn barely had time to dive out of the way as the blast struck the ground where he had stood moments before, leaving a scorched, withered patch of earth. Finn rolled to his feet, his heart racing, clutching the hilt of his sword. "You restored the balance," the figure said, its voice growing darker, "but balance is a fragile thing. Aeryndor holds the key to true power, and it is time I took what is rightfully mine." Before Finn could respond, the figure vanished into a swirling mist of shadows, leaving only a haunting echo of its words behind. The wind died down, and the night returned to its eerie silence. But the damage had been done. Finn and his friends knew that something far worse than any challenge they had faced before was on the horizon. "What was that about?" Aric asked, still wide-eyed. Tilly, usually the most carefree of the group, looked unusually serious. "The Lost Kingdom of Aeryndor. It's a place that was said to be swallowed by magic ages ago. It's only a myth in fairy tales. But if what that figure said is true, and they're after something in Aeryndor, then we're all in danger." Finn stood, brushing the dirt from his clothes. He glanced at the distant hills, where the figure had appeared. His heart was heavy with a mixture of fear and determination. "We need to find out what Aeryndor is and what that figure is planning. If they're after something powerful, we can't just sit around and wait for them to use it." Aric nodded. "But how? We don't even know where Aeryndor is. And if it's been lost for so long, how are we supposed to find it? Tilly fluttered upward, her small wings sparkling in the dim light of the stars. I've heard stories about Aeryndor in old pixie legends, but nothing concrete. There's one place that might have answers, though: the city of Calithin. It's home to the largest library in the world. If there's any information on Aeryndor left, it'll be there. Finn's mind raced. He had thought their journey was over, but now it seemed like they were just stepping into a greater mystery. The stakes were higher than ever before. The stones had brought balance, but now this new threat loomed over them, promising to undo everything they had fought for. "We leave for Calithin at dawn," Finn said firmly, glancing between his friends. "If we don't stop this, who knows what will happen?" The road to Calithin, a new journey begins. The next morning, Finn, Aric, and Tilly set out on the road to Calithin, determined to uncover the secrets of the Lost Kingdom of Aeryndor. As they walked through fields and forests, the weight of their new mission pressed on them. They had saved the world once, but this time, the threat felt more elusive, hidden in the shadows of forgotten history. Calithin was a city Finn had heard of only in stories. It was said to be a place of great learning, where scholars and historians from all corners of the world came to share their knowledge. The city was built atop a hill, with towering spires that could be seen from miles away, and its grand library was a repository of ancient wisdom. As they approached the city gates after days of travel, the sight of the gleaming towers filled them with awe. But as they entered the bustling streets of Calithin, they couldn't shake the feeling that time was against them. Somewhere out there, the mysterious figure was already making moves to unlock the power of Aeryndor. They made their way to the Grand Library, a massive stone structure that seemed to stretch endlessly into the sky. Inside, rows upon rows of books and scrolls filled the shelves, the smell of old parchment and ink hanging in the air. It was a place of quiet, where the weight of history was palpable. They were soon directed to Elder Quarthus, one of the most knowledgeable scholars in Calithin. His beard was long and gray, and his eyes, though aged, were sharp with wisdom. He listened carefully as Finn explained their encounter with the dark figure and their need to learn about Aeryndor. When Finn finished, Quarthus sighed, his expression grim. "Aeryndor, you're not the first to seek knowledge of that forsaken kingdom. Few speak of it now, but in its time it was a place of unmatched power. Its rulers sought to harness the elements just as you did with the stones. But their ambition knew no bounds. They created the Ether Crown, a device that could control all the elements at once. It was too much power for any one person to wield, and it led to their ruin. Aeryndor was consumed by its own magic, and the kingdom vanished." Finn leaned forward, feeling the weight of Quarthus' words. "And now, someone's trying to bring it back." Quarthus nodded slowly. "If they're after the Aether Crown, then the world is in grave danger. The crown was sealed away with Aeryndor's fall, hidden so that no one could ever use its power again. But if that figure is trying to find it, we need to stop them," Finn said firmly. "Can you help us find where Aeryndor is hidden?" Quarthus stroked his beard thoughtfully. "The Lost Kingdom is hidden well, but there are old maps, forgotten texts that hint at its location. It won't be easy to find, and the journey will be dangerous. But if you're truly determined to stop this threat, I'll help you." He pulled a dusty old map from a shelf behind him, the edges frayed and the ink faded with time. "This is the only known map that might lead you to Aeryndor. It's incomplete, but it's a start. Be warned, the path is treacherous, full of traps left by the sorcerers to protect their secrets. Only the worthy will find the way." Finn took the map, feeling the weight of the new journey ahead of them. "Thank you, Elder Quarthus. We'll find Aeryndor, and we'll stop whoever's behind this." As they left the library, the sense of urgency grew. The Lost Kingdom of Aeryndor awaited them, shrouded in mystery and danger. But Finn knew they had no choice. The world depended on them once again.